afternoon and welcome to the Handon Online Show. That's right, no online show because we haven't had footy over the last 7 days because of lockdown. It's an ever-changing landscape, but it's one that we're going to hopefully guide everyone through and get the latest information now from the powers to be. And, well, we've got a great panel assembled too. We've got coach of the Croydon Saints, Chris McLaren, from a coach's and a player's perspective. We've got Gary Perrott, who is the president of the Handon Football Netball League. And we've also got Matty Ross, who runs AFL Western District. And no doubt, as I kick off to you, Matty Ross, it's been a pretty hectic 7 or 8 days for you guys, mate. Where are we situated at the moment, Matty?
Yeah, right, Stewie. It has been busy, particularly the last couple of days. We're really at the peak of our busyness. But, you know, silver linings, we've got the green light to go ahead with training at a senior level as of today. And gladly, the juniors can return to competitive matches this weekend. So I guess a lot of our work at the moment has been communicating that out. Also seeking some clarity from the state government on a few points in those restrictions. So I think we've sort of got there now. We've got confidence that, you know, everything's set for us to return to play. And we're encouraging, you know, where possible that kids play footy this weekend, or, you know, if you're a senior level, that you get out and have a bit of a training session.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, it's one of those things. It's a world we live in. We'd probably be remiss if we didn't think it was going to maybe hit us at some point in time throughout this 2021 season, coming off the back of the 12 months that we did have. But, you know, I suppose the key is that, you know, kids can get going this weekend. Next weekend, our senior competitions are about to get underway. And that's exciting, isn't it, Matty?
Yeah, I mean, fingers crossed. We don't really know when the current round of restrictions will ease further. We're just dealing with what we've got at the moment. I think all clubs sort of see the reality in that. And I think one point that we'll make is that, you know, this weekend's not going to be a normal round of football. There'll be restrictions on spectators. So we're encouraging a single parent or guardian and only at the game to supervise their child or dependent. So just reducing the number of people in the ovals is critical, and making sure that we you know, use our QR codes, sanitising our hands, and I guess just one of the key critical areas too, just be mindful of the volunteer workload. Just be real, you know, pleasant towards the people that are manning the gates and trying to, you know, deal with what we've got at the moment. So.
I reckon that's a key point, mate. I only had that conversation this morning with Chris McLaren about, you know, just the volunteers of your football club, you know, the extra responsibilities that come with a COVID season. And we'll touch on that, Macca, when we come to you. I'm going to go to Gary Perrott, the president of the Handon Football Netball League, first as I bring you into play. Gaz, how are you, mate?
I'm great, thanks, Matty. Really good. And especially good that we can get the kids going on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. And no doubt, Gaz, you guys have obviously been working feverishly, you know, over the past couple of days, trying to work on how this season's going to look moving forward. You know, I suppose integrity of the competition comes to mind, you know, because we'd played 6 rounds, obviously. We're coming up to round number 7. What's going to happen there, Gaz? Like, you guys as a committee have obviously sat down, had a bit of a thrash out over the last couple of days. Can you give us a bit of an update there as to where we're going to pick things up and how it's going to work moving forward?
Yeah, sure, Matty. Yesterday we had myself, Gary Walsh and Bernie Harris. We had the round table conference, and we called every president in the league to get their views on what they thought we could and couldn't do as far as the juniors go. Because initially we had the under 18.5 included in the underage group, but that turned out it was just a little bit difficult as far as some teams had players that were 19-year-olds, so it wasn't going to work. So it meant some teams may have had to forfeit the game. So we didn't want that. And plus it would have created, like if we had played round 8 tomorrow, this weekend, it would have created a bye for those people on when we do play round 8 for the senior competition. So it sort of got a bit messy. And for the amount of people that we could have at the grounds at one time, it wasn't feasible. So we just sort of said that we'll just give those guys a rest for this week, and then as soon as we can start again with the seniors, we'll include them. We're still going to. We went through the year, the break in July holidays. We'll still have that bye because a lot of people have got things booked. But whether you can still go for that or not is another thing. Who knows on that? And then we'll just make sure that once each club has played each other once, then we can work out where we go from there. Like where we're going to finish. So work out where we're going to finish.
Yeah. So Gaz, are you saying that we might possibly go back next week? You know, next week might be the official round 7. Is that a possibility?
I think so. Yeah, round 8 or round 7. Yeah, that's right. Then we'll go from there. Yeah, and then we all depends if we lose any more weeks. I don't think we would. But then we talked about the way it's working out. If we can get the whole season in, we may play it worked out the preliminary final could be played on the Friday public holiday before the grand final, and then we could play, if we're allowed, grand final on the 2nd of October.
Yeah, there you go. So a couple of little initiatives, and I think we have to get creative, don't we? You know, like there could be the possibility of maybe a Wednesday night, like 2 games of football in the space of kind of 8 or 9 days or something, which might be something that, we've all got good lights at majority of the facilities now that I'm sure if we got creative with a draw, we could push through. It was interesting to note too, the GFL, they just cut their round 17 and 18 off. So they're just going to go back to where they were, and then they're just going to drop those last two rounds off. So they obviously had these things in place possibly before the season started, which is another interesting little thing, isn't it, Gaz?
It is, yeah. I think for the integrity of everything, we keep on saying that. I think that we're going to try and fit as many rounds in as we can, and means going into 1 week into the cricket season. I know Matty Ross has advised us that we're not supposed to, but if we can get approval or something just for that one Saturday, because cricket doesn't start until the following week anyway. So I think that if that's a possibility, we'll go with that.
And it's obviously just unique times. It's the world we live in. We've got to kind of bend and buckle and move with the times and do whatever we can to keep things tapping along. Chris McLaren, coach of the Koroyd Saints, joins us now. And Macca, from a coach's and a player's perspective, mate, how's this little last week in lockdown and little hiccup kind of been for the playing group, buddy?
Yeah, the first week off was okay, mate. We're a bit like us and South have had the double week off a few weeks ago, so. In one way you're probably a bit used to it, and the other way you'd like to keep going. But the world we live in at the moment, you just got to, we often sort of talk about just control the controllables, and at the moment we don't have any control on what's going on. So just deal with it and just try and make the best of what we can do.
Mate, since the announcements come in, Macca, you can get back to training today. What are the movements? What are the plans from today, I suppose, moving forward?
Yeah, so we're training tonight, mate. The boys were really keen to get straight back into it. So, as I said before, we've had that double week off a few weeks ago. So, we're fresh enough in terms of, being able to get an extra session in. So, yeah, we'll train tonight, get a really good session in. The boys will probably do something over the weekend. The under-18s are actually playing a bit of a scratch match type of setup over the weekend. All the younger ones, I mean. And then, then back into it next week as well. But, yeah, we just thought we'd pick our session up straight away and get back into it.
Macca, had a conversation with you earlier this morning, in regards to Matty Ross brought up the issue, just look after our volunteers, because you got to remember that's what people are. They are volunteers at your football, netball club. They do a wonderful job, and, a lot of work you wouldn't even understand goes in by a lot of these people. How is it? How is the impact? You're a smart guy, mate. You're a businessman. You've been around football clubs for a long period of time. How is that toll going on people at your football club, buddy?
Yeah, it'd obviously be taking its toll on some people, mate. We like all footy clubs think we've got great volunteers, and they do an enormous amount of work, a lot which a lot of people wouldn't realise. But it's actually something we've really embraced this year with our group, and it's we've got a bit of a thing going about respecting and our volunteers and. The ones in the past, the ones in now, and the ones in the future, that the people have sort of been looking after you and helping us get on the park. So whether that's, your volunteers, your family, all those sort of people, but something our playing groups a bit of a theme we're taking into the season is who's been doing that for us. So, and trying to be really appreciative of volunteers and sponsors, supporters, people that put their time in to help. We get to get out there and play, but those people that help us do that. So yeah, we've been really mindful of getting around those people and trying to keep them included. And know they really the players did, but those type of people really miss being able to get out and play footy and watch us play footy last year, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. They're massive, and sport is such a big part of our local communities. We need it, okay? We need it for our release, all that kind of stuff. We just need to get to the football, the netball, and be social, and just kind of work in with each other. That is for sure. Matty and Gaz, I saw obviously a statement come out by the Hammond League over the last 48 hours. It's an ever-changing landscape, and I can see, there's some angst and there's some anger and there's some, people want to know questions and want to know answers to questions. But I think we just need to take a bit of a deep breath at times, don't we? And just say, hey, listen, this thing's bigger than everything at the moment. If you look at what's going on in the world, we as a country in Australia are doing pretty well with it. And, even in country Victoria, we're doing exceptionally well, to be honest. So, look, it's hard at times when you put press releases out and, people jump on and they're disappointed because the under-18 and the halves aren't playing or whatever. They just need to be mindful, don't they? That everyone's trying their best.
Yes, certainly on our part, Matty, as soon as we're allowed to get people on the park, that's what we tried to do. And it is a difficult thing to juggle, and it's not an easy thing. Like, we spent 3 hours on it yesterday, and it's just a difficult thing to do. And all the clubs have got different ideas and that sort of thing. So we put it all together and just came up with, we can do Sunday, and that was as far as we got, So and when we all start up again, it'll just go. And then if we have to stop again, we stop again, and we work it out later on the season. If we have to cut down the draw a bit, that's what we'll do.
Yeah, and I think, Matty Ross, you guys no doubt will be working overtime. You're working with AFL Vic. AFL Vic are working with government. And as I said, it's an ever-changing landscape and one that we just have to adapt with.
Yeah, that's right, Stewie. And I think it's an environment where we can't strive for perfection. It's one where getting some games played is, as you said, it's a luxury compared to how some other people are doing around the country, the world, but also people in metropolitan Melbourne. You've got to remember that they're locked up in their houses this weekend, and we've got the privilege of going out to play. So, yeah, you are right. It's critical to our community. We've got, probably 6,000 players. That's not even including Auskick across our region. You sort of extrapolate that to your mums, your dads, our valued sponsors that do such a great job, then, you think how important it is to the community. And I think, as you said, us AFL Victoria working really hard to encourage people and recognise the work of volunteers getting back. And just this afternoon, they've announced basically 25 grand worth of sharings for community clubs that get out in regional Vic and train or play this weekend. So encourage everyone in Clubland to take a look at AFL Western District's Facebook page. Check out the details, and if you're lucky enough, you get a $500 worth of sharing. So we're doing every bit we can to get everyone back playing, and I'm sure all the clubs and, the state government too really want to see people back playing. So we're just got to do it in a safe manner, and we'll all be out there soon.
And obviously, Gaz, you're exactly the same with your executive who do a wonderful job. You've got a great team there, mate. Behind the scenes, a lot of work and a lot of thought process going into, how are we going to look, this draw, how is it going to look? Are we going to play a couple of weeks where we might play games every 4 or 5 days or something, underlights, twilight games, whatever it might be? But, it's a thankless task, I would imagine at times, but no doubt plenty going into it, Gaz.
There is, but like just speaking to all the presidents yesterday, they're all upbeat. They could all understand where we're at. They're fantastic. They're a really good bunch. The clubs have got some really good presidents in place at the moment, and it's just so easy to deal with. It makes our jobs a lot easier.
Yeah, you've absolutely nailed it. Spot on, mate. And Macca, you got training tonight, mate. I know you've got a few pizzas and, just a bit of a social get together, obviously social distancing, all that kind of stuff. But, mate, it must be good, and the boys are probably, no doubt, looking forward to a bit of a get together and, blow off a bit of steam, mate, and have a bit of a yak and a catch up with some mates.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I think we're allowed to have 50 in the club rooms, like restaurants and sort of stuff. You're all got to be seated and stuff like that. So we'll order some pizzas in, have a couple of beers, watch probably the first half of the footy or so, and, just catch up. I mean, everyone, last year with that when we weren't playing, but it doesn't take long for this sort of stuff to realise that the part of footy you probably miss the most is, being around your mates and, being around the club with people. So, yeah, we'll get straight back into it tonight, mate, and we'll get a good session into them and, relax and have a beer after training, which will be good.
Yeah, great stuff. Well, I'll tell you what, boys, it's fantastic to see junior footy and netball going this weekend. I know my little fella, he plays under 10s up at Roosterland, and he was super excited. You got to drive in the gate. You virtually got to drop the kids off and drive out, which is bloody sad because you want to see them have a run around the kick, but that's the world we live in, and that's what the sacrifice we're going to make to let the kids have a run around, have a kick of the footy and have a throw of the netball. It's just great to see them participating, which I think is fantastic. And look, hopefully this time next week everything's gearing up towards, whether it might be round 7, it might be round 9, it might be round 10, whatever it might be, it is going to be fantastic to see people. And there might be another hiccup before the season's out, but we've just got to keep on the course and look forward to what this COVID pandemic is going to throw up, that is for sure. Chris McLaren, thank you very much for joining us, mate. We appreciate your time, buddy.
Thanks, Stewie. No worries at all, mate. Good on you, mate.
Just give the business a plug before you go, mate, to the Southwest floor polishing, mate. Best in the business.
Yeah, Southwest concrete polishing, mate. Just up here, little late lunch break in the ute, mate. So, I've probably got at least 2 or 3 hours working me on a Friday afternoon yet, I'd say, before the trip home from Hamilton.
You'll be home, mate, for sure. That is great stuff and the best in the business. Matty Ross, we appreciate your time, mate, and I reckon you might be sucking on a little fresher fruit juice, one of our great sponsors as well, big fella.
Yeah, thanks, Stewie. I do have a glass here. I'm just down to the last little bits of it, but a great drink, that's for sure.
I love your work, mate. Doing a great job too at AFL Western District. Another thankless task, and your phone would have been absolutely running hot over this last week. I can only imagine, mate. We appreciate your time. And Gary Perrott, of course, the president of Hamden Football Netball League, based out of Portland, mate. I think you might have just polished off a bit of McDonald's, mate. Another one of our great sponsors.
I love the Maccas for lunch, mate. Sometimes I get the nuggets, and then I like the quarter pounder, something like that. Really the evening session. But I'd like to thank you too, and Matty Ross for the work that you're doing as well. You're just doing a great job there.
Good on you, boys. We absolutely love it. We hope you're enjoying the online shows too. They will return. Of course, the junior show with little Ruby Couch and Maddie Sell will be back Wednesday night. The netball show with Trenny Hill and Trish Butters, and that is absolutely low flying as well. And then the football show with myself and Trent Hill. And we must thank our sponsors, wonderful sponsors too. McDonald's, Lindock Living, Power Core, and of course SunGold FM flavoured milk. They are absolutely magnificent. And the pie of choice on a cold winter's day is none other than Chittick's Pies. We'll see you at the footy and netball in the coming weeks.